Alright, so we had just finished making this flap, and I want to make a different flap using a different pattern so we can at least look at what different patterns look like. Okay, so I'm going to window around this guy. I'm going to hit delete, and it's going to leave the pattern and the reference line and the adaptive points behind, but I want to change my pattern. So I'm going to pick that pattern, and I'm going to come over here to the pull down, and instead of rectangle, I'm going to use arrows. There are bunches of other patterns that you can play with. The rhomboid is obviously a very popular one now because it makes surfaces developable, but let's go ahead and I'm going to pick arrows. Alright, so you're going to see that pattern update, and again, if I pick this pattern, it's updated to 2 feet by 2 feet, so each one of those spaces are 2 feet. Now let's say I wanted to have a flap that opened up, you know, sort of like that. So basically I repeat the process that I did with my other flap. I just set the work plane that I want, reference line. I'm going to set it to draw on work plane, and when I'm drawing on a work plane I want to get rid of the 3D snapping, so I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to pick that point and draw a vertical line, and then hit escape, and then I'm going to go to set. And set will also allow you to sort of scroll through and set that one, and then left click, straight up, escape, and then you can go to set that one, left click, straight up, and then I'm going to go around and make these dimensions permanent. So selecting the object gives me a listening dimension, left click on the dimension sign, and it will make the dimensions permanent. And then for this top one, I'm going to pick that dimension, go to the pull down, and add the height parameter to it. So now that height parameter is applied to that. Then I'm going to pick these two, and I'm going to make a new one. So I'm going to add parameter H2 and click OK. So you can see that now they're both controlled by that same parameter. And then I want to make the line that's going to make the surface. So if I go to reference line, turn on 3D snapping, right, and I'm going to go back to draw on face, and I'm going to start at this 2, go to the end point, go to the end point, go to the end point, and go down to 4. Okay, and then escape, escape. Now we can go in and sort of flex this thing before we put the surface on. So if I open up my family types dialog box and I say, okay, I want the height to be 4 feet, and apply. You see that goes up to 4, height 2, maybe I want it to be half of that, apply. So you see that that rig is working. Now, let's say I always wanted these H2s to be half of H. I could actually put a formula in here that says H over 2, and then every time I change this, those will update as well. So you can enter formulas in here, which is also pretty fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and put 1'6" in here to correspond with the type name, apply, and then we'll make a new one and we'll name it type, well it's 3, so let's just name it 3 feet. Click OK, and then I'll change the height to 3 and apply. Okay, alright, so now let's go ahead and put the surface on there. I'm going to left click on that chain of lines, hold down the control key, left click on those, and create form. It gives me the option to do a flat form or an extruded form. I'm going to do a flat one for right now. And you can see that it's made that form developable based on the fact that it's quite complex and that it has this coincident point. Now if I go into my family types and I say update it to 18 and apply, you see that you get sort of this changing flap. Okay. Alright, so in the next one we'll apply both of these to a divided surface. I could go in and save this as flap arrow test. Okay.